Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday Night Vlog with your host, Franklin F.M. McKinnis. Enjoy the show. Funko is producing a lot of pop figures this year. We have everything coming up from Dragon Ball to the Golden Girls to the new Ghostbusters, which I'm sure everybody's really thrilled about. We have classic Marvel characters, new Marvel characters, Suicide Squad, Mega Man figures. There's just a lot going on this year. And it got me to thinking about some figures that I would like to see Funko produce. So that will be the focus of our first segment here. Now this show may be obscure to a lot of you, the IT crowd, which is a British show. IT, of course, referring to, people that are technical, computer savvy and everything, and they work within an office place. And they're the people to call on when a computer breaks down. So it doesn't sound like a really exciting or thrilling show, but it is hilarious. It's one of the funniest shows that I have ever watched, and I'm not exaggerating. I love this show to death, and I've run through the episodes again and again. With British TV, if you're not too familiar with it, very often they have much shorter seasons than we have here in America. So each season is only 6 episodes. I think they did 4 seasons and then a season finale, which was done later on, or I should say a series finale that was done later on. But it's totally worth checking out. It is available on Netflix. I think it may still be on Hulu as well. You won't regret watching it, trust me. Very funny show, especially if you're into geeky things and you get all the little references that they make throughout the series. But these characters, if you take a look at the picture here in the bottom right, I think they would make very interesting pop figures. The woman all the way to the right, or really she's the only woman here within this picture, Jen, she is basically like their supervisor. May not be the most interesting pop to make, but I think that if they get her hair color right and everything and just little details like the type of suit that she normally wears, they get that right, she'll be cool. The character there in the middle, Moss, has that very interesting hairstyle with the huge part in it, and I think that would definitely look funny on a pop figure. And then just his general nerdy type of clothing that he wears along with his nice sneakers. I think that would really look interesting. And then the final character, Roy, all the way to the left there. He wears some really funny, nerdy t-shirts, and they have some obscure references sometimes. If they put one on him that's, one of his classic shirts that really stands out, I think he'd look cool as well. And all 3 of these characters, I don't think anybody would want just like one of them. I think they would want all 3. So it could be actually a pretty smart idea for Funko to do it, even if it is limited. Even if they do a limited run of these characters, I would love to see that. And then maybe if those characters do well, then they can do some of the side characters as well, or supporting characters like Richmond, who is basically a goth guy. He's pretty funny as well. The Batman Arkham series, they do have plenty of pops within this series, but obviously there are some that are missing that just seem like they should have been made as well. So we're just going to look at 4 here that I think personally should be made. I think most people can agree we definitely should have a Mr. Freeze pop. And that sounds pretty funny to say, Freeze pop. I just thought about that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Mr. Freeze would look great as a pop figure, especially if they had a cool helmet. A removable helmet would be really cool with him. And also even something I would like to see with pop figures is like removable weapons that can be taken in and out of their hand, that sort of thing. So they could really do a lot cool with this figure. No pun intended. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger, so no pun intended there, but he could be a really cool figure. The Red Hood. I could care less about Arkham Knight. And I know that they're basically the same guy when you remove the mask, but Red Hood is just so much cooler. Essentially, this character is like Batman, but with just less morals. He does not mind killing. But then again, if you've seen the Batman vs. Superman movie, you know that maybe Batman and Red Hood have a little more in common now, at least based on that version. But regardless, I don't want to sidetrack there. The Red Hood, I think, is just a great design. I really like his outfit. Those oversized pistols that he has there, I mean, they look ridiculous, but they also look really cool at the same time. This would be a great pop figure. I have seen custom made Red Hoods. They've been okay, but yeah, I want something official though. Next up here, this may seem like an odd choice, but when it comes to the Arkham Knight game, I didn't enjoy that game a whole lot. I thought the Batmobile was very aggravating to control. I felt like the boss fights were pretty weak, but one of the standouts within that game to me was just randomly coming across Man-Bat. And yes, that is the name of this character if you're not familiar with him, Man-Bat. That was actually pretty cool, and I know the first time that I just happened to come across him, I won't lie, it was a good jump scare. And something I did not expect in a Batman game was a great jump scare. And it was just pretty cool to hear that character, his sort of screeching sound that he did, I guess his sonar, and then just to randomly have to chase him down. That was actually pretty cool. And I just like the look of the character. Another character here, Azrael, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, Azrael. He had a great design within the game, and he's had different designs within the comics, but I think especially in the game, he had a really cool outfit. The sword looks great. And now that this character is getting more mainstream attention because he is featured on the Gotham TV series, which I don't follow that series. I've heard good things about it. I just haven't gotten into it. I watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and that was about it. But I don't know, maybe I'll come back to it eventually because I know that streams on Netflix as well. But anyway, I think this would also be a great looking pop figure, especially if they find a good pose for him with the sword. You know, the sword looks cool. And again, I wish Funko would consider making parts, you know, that could be removed or moved around like with the sword. Maybe it could be sheathed and maybe it could also be held in his hand. That would be pretty cool to me. So those are the Arkham figures that I think should be made, and you all could let me know which ones did I miss, what other Arkham characters, or I should say characters from the Arkham series, would you like to see. Moving on here to another comic book character. I don't know why in the world we don't have a Blade pop figure by now. Maybe I missed them somewhere along the way. If there's one that does exist out there, you all let me know. But as far as I know, there is no Blade figure, and honestly, I don't care what they base the design on. It could be from the comic, and I know there's been different iterations of him in the comic. Could also be from the anime version, which you see that really cool picture there to the left. Or of course, it would be great to see Wesley Snipes as Blade. Any of those, however they do Blade, I just know that I want Blade as a pop figure. Love that character. Didn't like how the last movie turned out. Blade Trinity was pretty much a disaster, and I think that shows that David Goyer, yes, he may have talent as a writer and maybe not so much as a director. And then I just know there was a lot going on with that production. It was just a lot of challenges, you know. So regardless, I still love the character. Blade 1 and Blade 2, great action movies. I haven't read the character much. You know, I do want to read some of his old comics. Got to find some good stories to check out and everything. But I just love this character. I really need to see him as a pop figure. Now, I think most people can agree with me that, yes, the Chucky figure that's available, it's alright. You know, I think the blood splatter one looks a little bit better. But the one that we really need is Chucky from Bride of Chucky. That is definitely Chucky's coolest design. And I don't just want Chucky, I would like Tina as well. In fact, if they did a Bride of Chucky 2-pack, that would be awesome. And Jeff Suarez, if you're checking this out, I think you agree with me. We need that. We need Bride of Chucky. Sticking to the horror theme here, I think we also need the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. Another cool design. And again, I'm going back to this idea of removable parts. I would definitely like his hat to be able to come off and to be put back on, because he does have a really cool sculpt to his head, just the way his head looks and everything. And then I like him with the hat on too. So I'd like to have that option of having both looks. That would be really cool. And if you don't know, just some quick history here. I think I've talked about this before maybe, but The character of the Creeper is based off of a character from Marvel Comics named Terror, and Terror may sound familiar to you because he is a part of Deadpool's crew. So he was that Chase Purple figure. Again, Terror, that character, he inspired the creation of the Creeper in the Jeepers Creepers movies. So they actually have a lot of similarities and they look pretty similar. And I really do want to check out that character Terror in the comics. Now, a movie that I'm really excited about that's on the way, I don't know the date on it, I know it's sometime in the summer though. They are finally doing a movie of The Killing Joke, and it's going to be a rated R animated movie from Warner Brothers. I am so pumped about that. The Killing Joke is a great story. I used to have this graphic novel, but it got lost in the shuffle somewhere when I moved, and I hate that I lost a hold of this comic. I may have to get another copy of it, but I'm definitely looking forward to the animated movie, and I really want to see a pop figure of the Joker in this outfit that he wore within the comic, where he looks basically like a tourist. And you see that this design was also used, or it's one of the alternate costumes in the Injustice games, or the Injustice game I should say. So yeah, I just like that look on the Joker, and there are plenty of Joker figures already, but this would just be another cool one for them to have, a very iconic look for the Joker if you know anything about this comic. I hope you all realize this is not some made up picture here. This is legit. These Street Fighter pop figures are releasing in Asia first. And I'm saying first because I just can't imagine that these will not be brought stateside. There are so many just rabid, I should say, Street Fighter fans in America that they have got to release these worldwide. And since there are now finally Street Fighter figures, and by the way, I'm happy with the figures that they chose, and I think I already heard somebody say they don't understand why they chose Dan, but I'm sorry, Dan is just funny to me. And he's meant to be a funny character. He's not meant to be taken serious. If you don't know the history behind Dan, he was basically sort of a parody of characters from SNK, because Capcom felt like SNK was basically ripping them off. Of course, the companies learned to play nice eventually because there was that Capcom versus SNK series. But that's all sidetracking there. I bring these up just to point out, since there is now a series for Street Fighter, there definitely should be a series for Mortal Kombat. We definitely need some Mortal Kombat pop figures. Personally, I think they should start off by focusing on the main roster from Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 1 I think would be kind of limiting, although of course, along with these characters from Mortal Kombat 2, gotta have Goro in the mix. And I would actually love to see a 6-inch Goro. I think that could look incredible. That would definitely be cool there. And then some other characters that I would look forward to would definitely be, I think Kung Lao is one of my favorites, always been one of my favorite characters, even though in their most recent game, I didn't like the feel of controlling him so much, but he's still cool. Johnny Cage, in fact, they need to do the more modern Johnny Cage. He's got to have the big tattoo on his chest. That's just so narcissistic but funny also. And then Jax with the metal arms I think would look great. So yeah, they could do a lot with these figures that would look really cool. They could also do variations. This is a real figure that you see here on the left side. I believe that figure was made by Mezco of Sub-Zero all iced out. And that would make a great variation for a pop figure of Sub-Zero. And then as another variation, they could have Scorpion with the hood off to show the flaming skull a la Ghost Rider, which I'm pretty sure inspired that aspect of Scorpion. So yeah, not only could they have a great original series, they could do some great exclusives as well, because I'm pretty sure they would end up being exclusives in some way. So those were my ideas, and I want to hear, what are your dream pops? What figures would you like to see created? If you're watching this video, hopefully you also watched my last video, my Funko hunting video, which I called a Funko hunting video because it wasn't just about pop figures. And really the main reason I went out was to get pop figures for trades and to help other people out. But I did pick up a couple of things for myself. The only pop figure I kept for myself was Sadness from Inside Out, my favorite character from that movie. Then I got the Hulkbuster, the mystery mini, which wasn't really much of a mystery to it because I just went through the boxes and I checked the weight, and that's how I got him. And then I got these two Dorbz figures. Each one I did have in mind to pick those up. So I was lucky, I was able to get both of them together and to get the Ghost Rider at a reduced price. So yeah, I'm happy with the couple of things I got to keep for myself. But as I said, the main reason I went out was to pick up some things to help out other people and for trades. And there were two people that I did a trade with, that I worked out a trade with this week, and they did go ahead and send their packages to me. I sent my packages out yesterday. So I'm glad that they were, cool enough to go ahead and send those to me. And before I can choose a pop of the week, we got to make sure we take a look at everything that I got this week. Right now, the only pop that I picked up myself this week was Sadness, and she's cute enough to me to actually be a pop of the week. I really do like that pop figure, and I really like the character, love the movie overall. So still though, I want to see everything that I got. So I got these two packages here. This is the first one. This one came from a member of a Facebook group, and I've joined so many Funko Facebook groups I honestly can't remember which one he's from, but I know we've done the trade before. He sent me the Deadpool X-Force unmasked figure, and I honestly can't even remember what I sent him. I just knew it was something I wasn't interested in keeping. And this trade, I sent him the Beast, Disney's The Beast, and he sent me, let me go ahead and show you here, and he does of course have it well wrapped. He did well with that last time. And that box is in such great condition, I'm using that again, definitely. He sent me here the glow-in-the-dark Hulk Dorbz. So yep, I got yet another Dorbz this week. This one, the Hulk, glows in the dark, and the box, honestly, even though he did a great wrapping job, and let me take a look here. The box looks fine on the bottom, and he sent me pictures, but the box still, it got a little damaged here. Really not a big deal to me because I don't keep Dorbz in boxes. I just don't see the point in that. And I know some people may say, well, isn't the same thing true for pop figures? But I think there's a bit of a difference. For one, definitely not going to get as much resale off of Dorbz if I ever did decide to, sell any of my pops, which I don't have in mind to do so right now. But then also, just the shape of these boxes, I feel like there's so much wasted space where it's not quite the same with pop figures. So yeah, let's go and get this Hulk figure out here, and it came out pretty easily there. You can definitely tell that something's going on with the paint, that it does look different. The green is different there, and that is because it does have that glow effect to it. So I will have to take a look at that later on. I still have not quite figured out how to record where you could actually be able to see the glow on camera. But regardless, yeah, I wanted that little fella there, so there he goes. So that's box number one. Now I do have another box here, like I said, and this one came from Brian of Southern Toy Squad. He is a YouTuber. Again, that's Southern Toy Squad. You can check his channel out. But you see what he made sure he put on the box here. Fragile, fragile. Yeah, he made sure that this box would be taken care of. He sent me some figures before. Actually, he sent me Solo and Fool Killer, those Deadpool, basically variations, even though they represented different characters. And one of the boxes did get damaged, not his fault. So I'm pretty sure, though, that's why he put Fragile all over this. Didn't want to have an issue with, shipping again. And he did write a quick little letter here. It says, Franklin, thanks for the trade. Hope this box makes it through the post office better than the last. Brian. Yeah, so I'm hoping the same thing there. And by the way, people, I do have to put this out there quickly. Solo, he still doesn't have a box. It's so sad. Yeah, he still needs a box. So if anybody has a replacement box, look out for me, please. Because I really would like to have him inside of a box. Excuse me there. My voice is still a little bit crazy. Oh, as a matter of fact, I might as well go ahead and point this out. That's why I did not post poems this week. because I knew my voice has not been 100%, and a lot of it has to do with just this pollen that's been bugging me for the first time. But I will make that up to you all, those of you that are into my poetry. I do plan to post a video that features 2 poems very soon. Let's go ahead and see what Brian sent me here. And if you've been watching my previous Saturday night vlogs, then you know I'm about to be very happy when you see what I have. Now, first of all, great job with the wrapping, and you can kind of peek and see already what's going on here. So let's get this fella out. I just always love trading from people that collect, because they really know how to take care of the figures. I mean, things still happen in shipping that are out of our control, but I love that people really care when they ship these out. You know, some companies you order them from, they basically just throw them in the box and send them on. No sort of protection around them or anything. Okay, so finally, here he is. I got Kratos. This is the Poseidon's Wrath Kratos, New York City Comic Con limited edition. This is the first one I have with this sticker. New York City Comic Con. He looks really cool. And I do have the black and red Kratos. I actually don't have the regular one. I'm really not so worried about the regular one. Maybe it's because I've played, I think, every God of War game, including the Vita ones that were basically transferred over to be able to play on the PS3. So I played a lot of God of War. Maybe I just got tired of his regular look. So maybe that's not why I don't worry about the pop figure. But yeah, this one looks really cool. You can kind of see there his scar, and that's not a flaw there or anything. If you know the character, he does have a scar there above his eye. And then, of course, the paint there. And if you know about the story of Kratos, then you know what that paint on his body actually represents. And he just, you know, he's really a tragic character. I mean, also the white on his body is not that he's pale. Again, if you know about the character, then you know why his skin is white there normally. But yeah, this Poseidon's Wrath Kratos, I've been wanting this ever since I saw it online. I just happened to come across it, and I'm really glad that I have it now. So I'm going to sit him up here on top of Sadness. And I got one more here. And by the way, in case you're curious of what I sent to Brian, he got the Iron Man and Captain America 2-pack that came out of the Collector Core box. Yes, I did go ahead and trade that because I like the other pops that I have of them better. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, it's not always about value, it's about what you want. I know that 2-pack is probably going to quickly increase in value, but for me it's about what I want. Now let me show you the back of this box first, because this just jumps out at me right away. Okay. Love that artwork there with Freddy Krueger. Now, if you've been keeping up with my collection, you know I already have Freddy Krueger, so you know that this is something different going on here. And yes, I finally have it. Freddy Krueger with the syringes on his fingers. I'm so happy right now. I've been wanting this figure pretty much since I started collecting. Like, not long after I started collecting, I actually saw this figure, I believe, online. And I was like, I gotta have it, because this is a reference to Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which is my favorite Freddy Krueger movie, and really one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Now, he doesn't have the hat on like he actually did in the scene, but I think it was like 2 birds with 1 stone. They did the variation on the hands and then let you see him without his hat as well. It would have been cool, though, if they did have a hat that was removable, but, you know, maybe that's something that Funko will start to do more often, hopefully. But yeah, I'm really happy that I finally have this figure. And I just love that movie. I love that scene. And really, almost every death in that movie is just a classic. If you've never seen Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and you love horror, you got to check it out. Or even if you haven't seen it in a long time, check it out if you get the chance. It's just so good. So, if I had to choose between these 3, what's the pop of the week? I think you can hear from my enthusiasm which one it is. Definitely this Freddy Krueger. And Brian, thank you so much for the trade. You know, the boxes are in absolute perfect condition. I could not be happier. This is really awesome. So the other day, I went to a Walmart not the closest Walmart to me, but one I've been to plenty of times recently, and I came across this site that I had never seen there before. They had this whole display set up for Funko Pop figures, and I was pretty surprised to find this. Like I said, last time I went there, this was not here at all. And look at the price, $8.78, not bad at all for Funko Pops. What's even crazier is, in my area, the Myrtle Beach area, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, there is a group that is set up on Facebook that kind of keeps people up to date about what pop figures are available in the area. And I know that there have been some people that have had some pretty good finds recently. And then also, just in general, online, I've seen people that have found Chase figures recently in Walmarts, which is almost crazy to even say. So it seems to me like Walmart is maybe starting to learn some. In fact, when I go to my local Walmart, I've noticed that they do have more pop figures in now than they used to have, even though it's nothing I'm really interested in. For some reason, they have Borderlands pops there, and I'm just not interested in those at all. But yeah, it seems like overall that Walmart is maybe starting to learn in some ways. You see here, there's even a Batman Beyond figure that I found. I was almost actually relieved to see a little bit of box damage, because I'm like, wow, I just, kind of went out of my way to get one. I did a trade. But, it's still cool that they actually had that available. Now, that there I'm not happy about. Some of these stores still, they need to pay attention to where they put their price stickers at. And I'm not sure why most of these did not have the sticker on it like that. So I don't know why that particular one had that sticker on there, but it's definitely aggravating sometimes the way that the stickers are placed. Some more box damage going on there. That's something else I wish stores would do better about. I've even been in some GameStops that could do better about the way that they take care of the boxes. Something you'll notice about this selection here, even though, yeah, like I said, I'm surprised that they had any pop set up at all like this. Definitely limited variety, all very Batman focused, and I'm sure that still had a lot to do with, the Batman vs. Superman movie being out recently. Now here on the toy aisle, this is where I really was headed to, and I just happened to come across that display along the way here, and I was just looking at some random things. Even when I'm out specifically pop hunting, I still, take a look at other things. Even though I know I may not pick them up, I just like to kind of look around and see what else is available. One big thing that I know bothers a lot of pop hunters is just inconsistency. Now, I know something already caught your eye if you're really paying attention, and I will address that here. But yeah, there's just way too much inconsistency between stores with what's available. So look here, this is after weeks of people hunting down this Batman vs. Superman glow-in-the-dark 2-pack. Some people have never seen it at all in a store. And just look at the condition of these boxes in these figures. Good condition, box after box, and you'll see me go through these. Like I said, all this is pre-recorded from the other day. But I just took the time to actually look through them, because I'm like, how in the world is it that this one store still has all these figures available, and yet some stores don't have it at all? And there are actually several Walmarts in my area that still have these figures stacked up. You see, I counted them out there all together. There's 6 of these still available in this one Walmart. The Walmart down the road, I know I'd been there before, and they had some available. And then there's at least one more Walmart in the Myrtle Beach area that had these. So yeah, the consistency definitely needs to step up from store to store. Moving on to another store here I took a look at the other day, Books A Million. This is a different Books A Million, not the one that I was used to going to. I stopped going to the one I used to go to just because it still bugged me that a cashier there admitted to flipping Funko Pop figures. And I think that's just horrible that he would think it's even cool to talk about that to a customer. But yeah, this Books A Million actually has a better variety anyway. As I was going through it, right away I saw that they made it very clear that yes, they have Funko Pops. You could not miss them at all. You didn't have to go down an aisle, you didn't have to go off in an awkward space or anything like that. And I really took the time to go through all these figures just because I wanted you all to see that I do think there are some stores that are really trying to step their game up. I think Books A Million has been pretty much on point Walmart is getting there. Walmart still has a lot of work to do, especially with that consistency issue, like I've said. And I did some hunting earlier at Walgreens this week, and if you watched my last hunting video, then you know that I was successful at Walgreens. But there were just way too many people that pretty much waste their time going to Walgreens because they never find any exclusives. This Kurama, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that name or not, but I know that there was somebody I came across on YouTube that said that they were looking for this original figure. I know a lot of people picked up the glow-in-the-dark version recently. Excuse my voice there, but yeah, a lot of people picked up the glow-in-the-dark version, and some people haven't been able to find the original, but this store had it. And this is what I like. You notice how it's organized here. It's very organized in a way that makes sense. They had that Batman setup when I first went into the store, and then they had this rack here, which obviously is focusing all on anime. Again, though, some box issues, but I want to be clear about this, though. Let me go ahead and point this out. With stores like Walmart, I'm not surprised to find some box issues there. Even Books A Million, I'm not surprised to find some box issues. You can't always put that on the store because if you really pay attention, I mean, a lot of times it is kids. You know, kids see these figures, they're bright, they're colorful. They think of them as toys. Adults, of course, we look at them as collectibles. But kids are kids. They're going to look at these as toys. And sometimes they do grab the figures and things like that, and they end up causing some damage. So yeah, don't always put it on the store. Notice there was a BAM exclusive. That's something kind of rare to see. I don't think Books A Million gets too many interesting exclusives, though. This particular setup here, this was all about, obviously, Doctor Who and Sherlock Holmes. Just series I don't really follow, but I still, like I said, I want to show everything that they had going on there. The Killing Joke, I didn't pick it up this time. I'm going to get it. Like I said earlier in this video, I do plan to get the Killing Joke. Here you see some Star Trek focus. You know, you can see all this for yourself. This one display was a little awkward, though. They had these Star Trek figures, and then randomly they had Daredevil going on there. They had a PX exclusive there that was kind of surprising to see. And by the way, let me point this out. Free Comic Book Day is fast approaching, and as far as I know, there will be some exclusive figures possibly in comic book shops during that time period. So you might want to be on the lookout for that. I know that they have 2 Dorbs that are going to be exclusive to comic book shops. At least as far as I know, they'll be exclusive to comic book shops. They have a completely unmasked Iron Man Dorbs. That means he doesn't have the helmet on at all. And then they also have a Captain America with no hood on at all. And again, those 2 Dorbs will be for Free Comic Book Day. Notice the prices on these 2. All the prices very reasonable on what they had in this store. I mean, you could find a little bit better. And here I was checking out some other types of figures as well. It's just cool that they do have a mix available there. The main reason I had this segment, though, you saw the question I asked you earlier. Basically, are stores learning their lesson? I really want to hear feedback from you all about the stores in your area. Have you been seeing the stores stepping their game up, or do you think you're still disappointed by certain stores? And if so, what stores? You know, which stores stand out to you as being positive for pop hunting? Which stores do you think really still need a lot of work? One store I've not been to yet, I may actually go browse around in there before the weekend is over, is Kohl's. I've never been there before at all. And if you've never heard of Kohl's, it's spelled K-O-H-L. I think there's an apostrophe in there and then S. Kohl's. I've been past it plenty of times. I just never went in because I never thought I had a reason to go in. But all of a sudden now I found out not only do they sell pop figures, but they're also going to have exclusive pop figures, including, I think it's a 75th anniversary Captain America. So yeah, now I have yet another store that I need to check out. And I do enjoy pop hunting, but these exclusives are really starting to kill me. That's one thing, and this is not on the stores. I mean, this is just a Funko thing, I assume, you know, it comes from them. So these exclusive deals, they can be interesting, but yeah, it's getting a little ridiculous to even try to keep up with where everything is. That is part of the reason why trades have been helpful. There, that RoboCop figure, I loved RoboCop as a kid. I don't know why. I completely lost interest in him though as an adult. That's just a little random thing about me I wanted to point out there. Here you see they had some Disney. This Gus in a slipper. That slipper looks amazing. But me and Disney, I just not into it. Here we go. More Frozen. You just cannot escape Frozen. That's something I don't think will change. It doesn't matter what store you go in. Yeah, Frozen is apparently here to stay, and I'm pretty sure they'll do a sequel, and then we'll have to go through this all over again with even more Frozen figures. There they have Nightshade Sally. I'm not sure why when it comes to Nightmare Before Christmas, that seems to be the same figure I see again and again. There's Chucky. Chucky not sitting so well. And if I was going to get that Chucky, I would want the blood splattered one. But like I said, I really want a Bride of Chucky version of Chucky. Not a Fallout fan. I just think Dog Meat is kind of cute there, though. He actually reminds me of my own dog. Which now that I think about it, maybe I need to put my own dog Radcliffe in a video again sometime soon. Now I'm trying to be patient here because there is something that I came across. In fact, here it comes pretty soon here with these Walking Dead figures. There was something I came across here that completely confused me, and I didn't understand what was going on. But obviously there was a big issue in the factory. Notice this Maggie figure here, and you see what I kind of zoomed in on there. Hello, hand is missing. I've never seen that before, a hand missing off of a pop figure. So that's why I picked up another one to check it out. And I was comparing the two, and I was like, what in the world is going on here? But like I said, I guess that was a factory issue. But yeah, quality control, step it up. There is no reason why that should have made it out of the factory like that. Daenerys on Dragon, or however you pronounce it. I'm not a Game of Thrones fan, but yeah, that's a cool looking ride. So it was cool that they had that as well. I just had to take a closer look at those creepy Walking Dead lights. Now this figure here, there is one of my subscribers that's been trying to find the Harley Quinn at a reduced cost. I've been seeing these other vinyl vixens reduced down now. But unfortunately not Harley Quinn. I think Harley Quinn is just way too popular. But I do look forward to the Harley Quinn Rock Candy that's coming out. And when I say Rock Candy, that's basically a new type of figure coming out from Funko. If you haven't seen those, you really need to check them out. Some of those are actually already available in stores. And again, it's called Rock Candy. Those figures look super cute. They're basically all, right now, female DC characters. But yeah, I really want the Harley Quinn, and I still want the Harley Quinn Vinyl Vixen as well. Star Wars selection, nothing too interesting to me, but then again, I don't really collect Star Wars anyway. I've noticed also Books A Million seems to be good about keeping rides. So for those of you that are interested in actually picking up the rides, it seems like Books A Million and Barnes & Noble as well are pretty good about keeping rides on hand. There's another BAM exclusive, but I don't know anything about that series once upon a time, so I really didn't know like what made that exclusive. I think I want to say that he's like Captain Hook, and that's the one that actually has his hand and his sword instead of the hook, so maybe that's the difference there. Anybody that knows about that show, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong on that, but I think that's what made that one exclusive. Something else I noticed, we may have passed it already. Now I'll talk about it in a second here. That surprised me. Oh, before I get to that though, look at all the chimichanga wagons that they still have there. And that's something else that I thought about getting at some point, but yeah, I still want that price to come down a little bit more. Still around $27. Just not worth it to me. Couple of figures again. These Legends, some of these Legends figures are really cool. Look at that character there. I think his name is Jack-O-Lantern. I think that's actually the character's name. Looks really cool. Look, this is here what I wanted to point out to you all. Giant Man. There are two sitting on this shelf here, and then there was another one in another area. That really surprised me that Books A Million had 3 Giant Man figures still available when most GameStops only got 1 or 2, and then they were sold and gone. And never, any more in stock. Pretty surprising. But yeah, this is going to wrap things up for this Saturday night vlog. I still want to hear from you all. What do you think about the stores in your area? Have they stepped the game up? Do they still need a lot of work? you all just let me know some feedback there. And then don't forget, I also want to know what pops would you like to see created that haven't been created and are on the way. If you stuck with me to the end here, I really appreciate that. It really does mean a lot to me. Hope you enjoyed the show. You all take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.